Washington, D.C. isn't just the capital of politics, it's 131 distinct neighborhoods. And with a new administration coming in that's going to be reshaping the city as well as new development, choosing where to live matters more than ever. 5 D.C. neighborhoods for 5 different people in one underrated video. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly where I would live in Washington, D.C. in 2025. Let's get right into the video. All right, neighborhood number 1. We got to talk about the 8th Street corridor. This D.C. neighborhood is a growth powerhouse. It has actually seen a 93% price increase in prices over the last 5 years, but I still think there's a lot more value yet to come. 8th Street is definitely a vibrant, growing area of the city. You have the 8th Street Festival with 14 different stages that draws huge crowds. You have the Atlas Center Revival that brought 50 different bars and restaurants to the neighborhood. And we have 18 independent theaters. There's pretty much no shortage of entertainment. This area is definitely like a hot spot for young professionals. I'm talking like 25 to 34-year-olds, and it also has a 93 walk score. Housing demand is really strong, definitely by the spillover with the RFK Stadium site that's going to be expected to be bringing in a new Commander Stadium in the next few years here. And if you don't know, the federal government turned that land over back to DC, so we should see that stadium be demolished in the next year or two. Now, the median price here has soared to actually 1.2 million, which is 93% over the national average. There's 210 new condo units that are actually under construction right now. However, you can still find a fixer-upper in here for around $700,000, with 14% of all purchases being an investor. So you do see a lot of these houses be bought by investors and fix-up, or even first-time home buyers that will come in and buy one and fix them out. Now, row houses definitely dominate the market with an average cost of $1,100 per square feet, if you can imagine it. But if you're into tech, the next neighborhood might surprise you. All right, so we got to talk about Washington, D.C.'s answer to Silicon Valley. I'm talking about NoMA Union Market. If you can believe it, there's been 7,400 new apartments built over here. OpenAI is pretty much leading the way and accounts for 30% of the new jobs over in this neighborhood, if you can actually believe that. This neighborhood is pretty much packed with amenities. You have 40 plus vendors at Union Market. You've got a 12-story affordable housing project. You've got the Metro Red Line, which makes commuting definitely a breeze. You're only about 9 minutes away from the Capitol Hill area. Housing has definitely exploded. Like I said, 7,400 new apartments built since 2017, increasing housing by about 72%. Now, the median rent in this neighborhood is going to be around $3,600, and the average one-bedroom condo is going to be about $985,000. Now, if you're not into tech, I have another neighborhood that I think you're going to like, especially if you're into politics. All right, so we got to talk about neighborhood number 3, which is going to be Capitol Hill. This DC neighborhood pretty much is a definition of where history meets luxury in 2025. You've got Eastern Market and Capitol Riverfront with over 85 restaurants and vibrant farm stands, making it a top spot for food lovers for sure. It is future-proof with an 8-minute metro ride to the new RFK development site, which I think will absolutely be huge. I cannot wait to see renderings whenever that deal may happen. Now, this area is definitely perfect for families. It has tons of top-rated schools. A lot of policy professionals live over there because it's only about 4 stops from the White House. The area blends a lot of history and modern living. The one thing I will tell you is parking is going to be really tough and competitive over there, and a lot of the older homes will need some renovation. So if you're someone who doesn't want to do any work, this might not be the neighborhood for you. Demand is definitely high. Prices in here are actually up 8.5% year over year. Expect a good mix of like row houses with an average price of around 1.2 million. And then of course, there's a lot of modern condos as well. Now, if you love waterfront views, you definitely are not going to want to miss this next neighborhood. All right, neighborhood number 4 is going to be Navy Yard. This neighborhood is actually down a little bit. So prices are actually down 12% below their peak market values. I definitely still think there's a lot of room for growth there, and you could still see prices rise. And I don't think these lower prices are going to last long. After the post-2020 boom, a big catalyst for 2025 has definitely been the new wharf retail phase opening in Q3 of this year. The wharf is absolutely beautiful and amazing. If you haven't checked it out, it totally revitalized this whole area. There's all kinds of amazing things to do there, like the Anthem, all kinds of other stuff. It's for sure a hot spot for young professionals, with about 72% of residents being anywhere between the ages of 25 to 34. It has some of the best gyms, 11 Capital bike share stations, and 24 24/7 security, amenity buildings. Like pretty much all of these condos in here and the buildings are gonna have security, gyms, bike racks, pretty much anything and everything you want. Dog washing stations, pretty much everything that you could ever want. Now the medium price is going to be around $593,000, so it's going to be a lot more affordable. But if you're more into like culture and embassies, you definitely want to hear about this next neighborhood. All right, so let's talk about neighborhood number 5, which is going to be Dupont Circle. This is definitely DC's most walkable neighborhood, and it is for sure having a moment. It has a 99 walk score. It has 17 restaurants and 5 bars within a 5-minute walk. It's a prime spot for students for sure, thanks to George Washington University, and then the diplomats with Embassy Row over here. When it comes to renting versus buying in Dupont Circle, condos average about $577,000, which is up about 5% year over year. And then 1-bedroom rent is around $2,600 a month. But here's the big news. The median price actually just dipped about 5.4% to $495,000, creating a bunch of value. So you can actually buy in here pretty low, and there's definitely a ton of demand. Like I said, I go to some bars and restaurants in here, and you can just pop in from bar to bar and you will see all kinds of different people. It's really cool just walking around there. It definitely has an amazing vibe for sure. Now, the next neighborhood I want to talk about is definitely underrated. You're going to want to hear about this one. All right, so my most underrated neighborhood for families is going to be Hill East, offering capital adjacent value with strong sense of community. This area is growing fast for sure, with 850 new mixed units approved. 20% will be affordable housing. It boasts a 92% home ownership rate and is just an 8-minute bike ride to Nationals Park. And if you can believe it, the Nationals actually won the World Series a couple years here, and it was absolutely wild. That's definitely a fun spot. You also have Audi Field right down their way. You can go see the DC United play. They've definitely won a few championships as well. This is going to be definitely a lot better for families. 80% of local schools are for sure top rated here, making it a great alternative for sure for pricier downtown options. That's what I would say is if you didn't want to be downtown, this would be a great spot. An insider tip would be definitely parcel B2 development is set to open by 2026. That's going to shape a lot of the retail in the area, and they expect home prices to rise even more in this neighborhood. You have a medium sales price of about $880,000, and prices are up 5% year over year. Let's go ahead and do a final breakdown of all these neighborhoods. Let's figure out which one is best for you. All right, so let's do a little bit of a final breakdown. And by the way, if you are thinking about moving here to Washington, DC, Northern Virginia, or anywhere in the DMV, email me info@colganteam.com. I would love to be your agent of choice. Most of our clients here come from this YouTube channel. Definitely hit that subscribe button. And we have a really popular Instagram @ChrisColganTeam. Shameless plug, I know. So let's talk a little bit more about H Street. Price trend. Prices are up 12% year over year with a 93 walk score. I definitely think this is going to be best if you are a young professional. NoMA rent is up 7%, walk score of 89. This is great for tech workers, like I said earlier in the video. Capitol Hill prices are up 8.5%, walk score of 95. Definitely great for families. And then Navy Yard prices are down 12%. I don't know if that will last or not. Walk score of 89. Definitely tons of like sports, entertainment options, all kinds of different things to do. Great neighborhood for sure. And then you have Dupont, where prices are down 5.4% with a walk score of 99. A lot of culture, nightlife, all kinds of things going on there for sure. Guys, definitely hit me up if you are thinking about moving here to DC, and definitely subscribe to my channel. I'd love to be your real estate agent of choice.